Good evening and welcome to the Top 25 Rundown presented by the Sportscast. Today is March 8th, 2023. If you haven't yet, please subscribe on all your channels YouTube, Twitter, Twitch.tv, and Apple Podcasts. If you're on Apple Podcasts, please leave a rating and review. It'll help us out tremendously. You can listen to us on your smart speaker, play Sportscast. Visit us on thesportscast.net. Also follow us on Twitter at the Sportscast1 and check out our app, the Sportscast, in the iOS App Store. Hello, my name is Alan West. Welcome to the Top 25 Rundown. Tonight, we are able to have a special guest, Erwin Dudley, former player at the University of Alabama, 2002 SEC Player of the Year, 2019 SEC Legend, and also he was able to play 13 years overseas. How are you doing tonight, Erwin?
I'm doing great, man. I appreciate you having me on, and let's get this basketball rolling.
Yes, sir. And well, we've made it to the favorite time of the year for college basketball. So now it's just wait to see who survives in advance in the tournaments and then see who makes it in the first 8 in. And then we get the whole true tourney going, which I'm curious to see not only who's going to win, but if we get a perfect bracket, because that's nearly impossible.
Oh yeah, yeah. You gotta. That's tough. For somebody, it's. I don't even know. I don't even. It's probably been done. What? Maybe once. Maybe. But I mean, that's tough to predict all those teams. I think a lot of it is pretty much guessing.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. You're right about that. And speaking of that, today we found out that Jim Boeheim, head coach at Syracuse, has decided to leave after 47 years. And well, when Boeheim won his national championship, you were actually a player at Alabama. So what do you think about Boeheim and the being a coach and just how he was able to be as successful as he was?
It's like you said. I was in school back when when he was coaching, when he was at Syracuse, and in the beginning with, when he had Carmelo and all those guys. And so,
Mhm.
he really brought some talent in at Syracuse. And, Carmelo was on the team where they won, the national championship. And for him, I mean, I think it just speaks volume for him to be able to coach, not only him but his family, for him to be able to coach for 47 years. Don't because coaching is, it takes a lot away from your family. It takes a lot away from you personally, and for him to be able to do it for 47 years, my hat goes off to him. My question is right there: is he a Hall of Fame coach? Does he go into the do you see him as a Hall of Fame coach? I mean, he won one title, but he's been coaching for 47 years.
Actually, I saw that in the Naismith Hall of Fame, he was already enshrined back in 2005.
Yeah, but what I'm saying, yeah, that's a long time. 2004, wow, I didn't know that. Okay, but
Mhm.
2005, that's a long time for him. He's still coaching. Um, and Mike Krzyzewski, he was done in what, 30 years? Was it 30 years? I think it was. And for
Right
him
around
to
there, yeah.
be, for him to be 17 years longer, that's a lot. It really is. And then, like I said, it's Syracuse, and um, Syracuse is definitely their basketball school. So um, I think that being said, I think that he had a lot of resources too as well to support him, because when you speak of Syracuse, you speak of basketball. You never, every now and then football, but it's mostly basketball. And so, like I said, he's had a lot of talent to come through there, and he's been able to put together a lot of successful seasons.
That is true. And the other thing that you and me talked about before we came on is that even though he's doing very well in the ACC, we'll always think about Syracuse back when they were in the Big East.
Big East, yes, yes, yes. I think it was just something about them playing in the Big East. To me, I just feel like it was just. I just still remember that as always, even when I watch games, um, watch them play after they joined the ACC, it just still felt different to me seeing them in ACC versus the Big East.
That is true, just because I don't know about you, I always remember how he had a few classic matchups against John Thompson. So I mean, in Georgetown, so that's one of the main things
Yes.
you always think about for the Big East. I mean, even though you had Jim Calhoun at UConn as well, but you would always see Syracuse as a team that, even if they didn't always have the best players, the way that Boeheim would coach
Hmm.
them, he would make sure they were
Hmm.
always well prepared and they were ready to play.
Hmm. Correct.
All right. So last week, I was able to do my picks for the early tournaments.
Hmm.
And well, let's see how good or bad I did. All right. So we'll start with the A-Sun. I picked Liberty. They turned out to be the runner-up against Kennesaw State. They lost by a point,
Mm.
67-66.
I know Ryan Kristen. I know he doesn't like that.
Not at all, not at all. I mean, it was a great game, but apparently the final foul shot was shot with under a second left to go in the game.
I think it was like point 0.6 or point 0.8 seconds or something like that. Something like that.
I believe
You
so.
know, I think when it comes down to um situations like that, it's tough, for referees to officiate calls like that because again, when you're coming down to the end of a game and um, you know, people, some people and coaches, they teach it to some, to some of their players, kind of at the end of the game, foul. The referee, they may not call it, but I say that you still have to think officiating. Officials, they have to officiate the same way from the beginning of the game to the very end, no matter no matter if they foul and don't foul, you gotta call it the way, the way it's supposed to be called. You can't, base it off, okay, his point is 1 second on the clock, or I'm gonna let him play, I'm not gonna call it. I mean, if it's a obvious foul, then you gotta blow your whistle. That's just how I look at it.
Mhm. Yep. Well, Liberty did come up short against Kansas State, but they still had a good year. Let's
Hmm.
see. Next up, we had the Sun Belt Conference, and I picked Southern Miss, and they did not make championships. So obviously, that wasn't a very good pick by me this time, unfortunately. So then we have the Horizon League. I picked Milwaukee.
Okay.
Well,
Hmm.
I believe they got knocked out in the first or the second round because they didn't make the championship game either, but they still were having a good year. Next league is the Patriot League. I picked Colgate. They did win.
It did win, yeah. Saw that.
That, and then I picked the Big South. I chose UNC Asheville. They were able to pull it out.
Yeah, that was a. I watched some of that game. That was actually pretty good game. They had beat them 2 times, in the season, and
Mhm.
think at halftime, I think UNC Asheville, they were trailing at the half, and they ended up taking care of business in the second half. But I mean, it was a good game.
That's even better. The Northeast Conference. I chose Farley Dickinson. Now, the
Hmm.
thing about this conference, I guess Merrimack just joined the conference. So because of that, with Farley Dickinson making it against them in the finals, they lost the championship game, but because Merrimack isn't eligible, they still are going to make the tournament.
Hmm.
Because
Hmm.
I was watching that game last night. Farley
Okay.
Dickinson came back because they were down by, I want to say, at least 8 or 10 with like a minute and a half, 2 minutes ago, and they think they lost by 3 points.
Hmm.
So I mean, they fought their butts off to try to come back. So that was That was one of the better games I've seen so far. Just getting ready for the tournaments.
And
Looking at
that's what
the
you want.
Oval. Mhm. Go ahead.
I said, now that's what you want though. Like, they fought their tails off. That's what you want, You wanna during the regular season, of course, you playing hard, but like when you get into tournament play, you have to raise your level of play. Because again, in the you never know what could happen in any tournament. One of the teams, one of the bottom teams, they can get hot at the right time, and they can possibly win. They could possibly win their tournament, and then they get an NCAA bid or something. So that's a good point. You have to get your team to or have to get your team and keep your team playing hard when
Oh,
it
yeah.
when it comes to the tournament.
Yeah, I mean, best example we're ever going to have is North Carolina State in '83 when they had to win the NCAA tournament, or they had to
Mm-hmm.
win the ACC tournament to make
It's
it to
his
the
turn.
NCAA tournament, and then they made it, and they went against Florida Summer Jam, and they won it all.
Yeah,
So,
you ain't heard one of those one team like that in a long time.
yeah,
Yeah, that
I
don't
mean,
happen often.
the closest one you could almost say was when it was Duke against. I'm trying to think of the team that Brad Edwards was coaching at the time when they had the chance on a final half court shot. I think Gordon Hayward was the one who shot it. I think it was
Um,
Butler. Was it Butler?
yeah, hmm
I
yeah,
believe
he
it
was
was
a Butler.
Butler
Yeah,
because that game,
yeah,
that game, it was still close, and if they had won, that would have been a huge upset. So
hmm
that was
that's
just one
true.
when it comes to mind for nowadays.
Hmm
So let's see. The Ohio Valley, I did pick Morehead State. They did not make the championship, so better luck next year for me on that. It is what it is, unfortunately. The Missouri Valley Conference, I chose Bradley. They were the runner-up, so I'm getting better.
hmm
Then we had the WCC. I picked Gonzaga, and
Yeah.
they were able to win last night. And Drew Timmy
Mm.
was had a heck of a game last night.
That was they rain. That was a blowout. That was a blowout.
Because I know that at the beginning of the year, St. Mary's beat Gonzaga, so I guess Gonzaga's won the
Hmm
last two now. But still, that they were the only team I was worried about for going into the tournament for their conference. I was like, you know what? I'm not sure about them completely, but it's hard to count out Gonzaga. It really
Mm.
is.
It is. It really is.
So let's see. Then the next one I chose was the CAA. I picked the College of Charleston
Okay.
because I believe they started out the year winning 18 or 19 straight before their first loss. So I mean, they were looking
Mm-hmm.
pretty strong. So I was hoping that they were going to keep on their winning ways.
Yeah, that was a safe. That was a safe. Safe call. I think that was a safe one.
Okay, you know what? I'll take that. I will take that any day of the week. So next conference we got is the Southern Conference. I picked Furman. They did win.
Mm-hmm.
And then after that was the Summit League. I picked Oral Roberts. And I did not watch the full game, but I was watching the beginning of the game.
Mm-hmm.
And were you able to watch any of that game last night?
No, I didn't. I didn't catch any of that game. I
Okay, well
didn't. I
that
was.
was you were watching Gonzaga because the Gonzaga's
Yep.
game was at the same time.
Yep. I was
Let
on
me
Gonzaga.
well, in the first 5 minutes, Oral Roberts was able to hit 4 3-pointers, including one of them by their 7'5" center.
Mm.
I mean, they literally were just putting their foot on the gas, and even though the game seemed like it was close at the end, it wasn't as close as it seemed. because they were more prepared, and just the way that they looked, frankly, it's kind of scary to tell you the truth,
Hmm.
because I thought that they were gonna make it more of a challenge, so to speak.
Hmm.
But I mean, they blew out North Dakota State. It was 92-58.
Yeah, that
I
is a
mean,
blowout.
I don't like I don't try to say blowouts casually, but when you win by that much,
Yeah,
I'm
it's
not
a
really sure what
man.
else you can say.
That's what it is, a blowout. That's exactly what it is, a blowout.
Hmm. All right, so now we're coming up to the conferences that, well, let's see, we had UMass Lowell for the American East.
Hmm.
Let's see, I don't believe they won their conference, but because I had written all this down and somehow I missed this. I mean, it's not like I had 32 conference tournaments to write down or anything, right?
No, it's not like you know. You're absolutely right about it.
What we'll do is we'll skip that. We'll go to the Big Sky. I chose Eastern Washington, and they did not win, unfortunately. There's always next year though, and I mean they still had a really good year, and they had been at the top of their league.
Mm.
It's like the American East. Let's see. They have not played the championship yet, so but they are in the championship games. That's why I was making sure about that. Okay. The Southland Conference, I picked A&M Corpus Christi, and they did win. So I picked a few winners. So this isn't as bad as I thought this year. I'm thankful for that.
Hmm.
Now we're coming up to the ones where, other than for the WAC, I had picked Stephen F. Austin to win, and unfortunately they did not. So it just means I'll have to do more studying on them next year, or pick a better team, but that's okay.
A better team, yeah. I know, right? Even if off
And
user, they are usually solid. They usually have a solid program, solid teams. Um,
I want to say last year or 2 years ago, they were like 31-2 when they went in the tournament.
hmm. Yeah,
So
they
I was
normally have
hoping,
really good solid team.
yeah, that's why I was hoping they were going to do better. But so for the tournaments that are just starting and underway, if you want to make your pick as well, you can. For the Atlantic 10, I've got VCU as my pick.
Who VCU? Who are they playing?
They're in the Atlantic 10 conference.
Yeah, I'm saying no. Who are? You said you got them. Who are they? Who is VCU playing? I don't. Or you got them winning the entire thing.
I have them winning the entire thing.
Mm.
Yep. I'm playing devil's advocate with a few of these. I mean, I have them for the ACC. I have UVA winning it all because I think that they're going to be more of a factor in the tournament. They
Really?
had a
You
really
got
good year.
UVA? You got
Mhm.
UVA winning the whole thing? Okay, interesting. I'm going. I'm going. I'm
Uh,
going with Duke.
Okay, okay. Hey, there's
I'm
nothing
going
wrong
with
with that.
Duke.
If
Okay, I
Duke
can't go.
wins, I won't be sad, but
I can't go with Carolina.
that's okay. Hey, I wouldn't.
Mm.
Uh, our the other co-host who usually would be on, he is a diehard Dookie as well. So I mean, he would be in the same boat as you right now. I believe actually he
Okay.
did pick Duke. So let's see. In the Metro Atlantic, athletic conference, I chose Iona.
Yeah, I can go with them. I'll go with Ion as well. I like, Patino. He can't go wrong with him.
Yeah, I mean, even with the issues that have been going on, you can't really go against his track record.
Not at all.
And if you do, well, you better make sure you're right, because if you're not,
You're
that's not one
exactly right.
person I would like to make angry with that really good reason.
Oh no, you're absolutely right about that. He's a boy. He is something else. Like man, he's a no nonsense coach. For him to come back, kind of resurrect his career after he
Hmm.
went, after he went overseas and coached in Greece.
Hmm.
Excuse me. That says a lot about him, though. For him to come back and still put his imprint on the game the way he has. Um, Still doing it.
Oh yeah.
Um, like we said earlier, Boeheim, he retiring, and Tino, I mean, he's been there for a while too, coaching for a while. And, he's still doing it. He's done it, different levels, NBA. He's done NBA, college. He even took the overseas route as well. So he's done it on all levels.
But not only that, and think about his son being a coach now as well. So I mean,
Yeah,
that's so
hmm
that way you're making sure that the coaching tree is going to keep going, which is even better.
yep,
But
you're exactly right.
let's see. We'll see how that goes. The Big West Conference, I chose UC Santa Barbara.
I can go with them. I like them as well. Right, I like them. Excuse me.
Nothing wrong with that. Let's see. Jumping into the Mountain West Conference, I picked San Diego State.
Yeah,
It's a little
San
bit of a
Diego.
reach, but
I mean, San Diego State. They're one of those things too. They normally have they normally have a pretty solid team as well. And just over the years. So I would go with San Diego State as well.
okay. Well, you're making me feel better about some of my picks, so that's a good thing. So, you know what? Means I've got a shot for a few of them. I mean, it's still gonna be a little shaky, but
Oh
now we
yeah.
have the Big East. I'm picking
Okay.
Marquette.
Why are you picking
Uh,
Marquette? You picking because it's the best team?
yeah, I'm picking them to win it all. Like all my picks, I'm saying here, I'm picking them to win it, win the conference tournament. So even I didn't even realize about Shaka being there, but even still, with him being
Yeah.
there, I think that just with everything he did at VCU, even though it didn't translate very well to Texas, when it's a smaller school, he always figures out a way to get it done or to motivate his players to get the best out of everything for them.
Hey, you're right about that. I can say the same thing about, people. I don't know if you remember Anthony Grant when he was here at Alabama. He didn't
I recognize the
succeed
name.
at. Yeah, he was under the Billy Donovan coaching tree. He was at Florida for a while. He's at
Okay.
Dayton right now, but he was at VCU as well. Before, and then Alabama. And
Mhm.
he didn't replicate the same success that he had, with the say smaller schools. I mean, with the bigger school that he had with the smaller schools. But he went back to after Alabama. He did the NBA for like a year or so, and then he got back and he started coaching at Dayton. And he's had some solid teams over there. But again, sometimes it just one of those things where the things that coaches are doing, for for smaller schools or mid-major schools, they don't replicate the same success as um big name schools. So I mean, it kind of is what it is. It's not one of those things that you can kind of say, oh, we'll get you and put your finger on it because, just different coaches have different success at different places. And then some of them
Right.
have success at all of
True. And I mean, if you wanted to talk about a coach who went from mid major to a major who's doing well, me
them.
and We talked about Jim Larinaga. He went from George Mason to Miami, and I mean,
Oh
he's
yeah.
been doing pretty
Oh
well in
yeah.
Miami. So,
Oh yeah. He did really, really well. Yeah, they yeah, they've been doing really well.
so I mean, that's just another thing we could throw in there. But yeah, because you don't know. Sometimes you'll see coaches that are successful in the mid major, then like you said, they go up, they don't do as well. Larinaga did
Hmm.
this year. I mean, he's been able to motivate his team, and I think they're going to be a force in the tournament. So we're going to see how that goes.
Hmm.
All right. So the
But
Pac-12,
the
I'm
Big East, I'm gonna go. I didn't get my pick. I'm going with Xavier on that.
going with Xavier. I
Hmm.
believe that's who I think Bob picked the same one as well. So in that case, great minds think alike with that. So you know what? I can't be mad at you about that.
Mm.
Let's see. The Pac-12, this is kind of a long shot, but I'm going to pick Arizona State.
Really?
Yep.
I watched them. I watched them a little bit the other day against Arizona. Um, um, I like them, but I don't like them to win it. Um, and then I would say UCLA, but UCLA, if one of their guards just went down,
Yep. I saw that.
um, with the injury. So you tough man. I'm gonna go Arizona.
Okay.
I'm gonna go Arizona. I just think that the loss that UCLA got. I think I mean it's a huge loss for them.
Mhm. Oh yeah. It's going to be tremendous. All right. So the next one I got is the SWAC, and I picked Alcorn State.
Okay. Um, I roll with Alcorn State. I'm fine with that. I'm fine with
Okay.
that.
And they've had a pretty good year. So I think that it's until they lose, we got a good shot. So we'll see what
Mm-hmm.
happens. For the MEAC, I picked Norfolk State.
Mia, you pick Norfolk State.
I did. I did.
Mm, I'm gonna go Norfolk State. Normally they're pretty. They're normally decent. I'm gonna go with North Carolina Central.
Okay. Yep.
You know.
They're a strong school as well. So we'll see what happens with that.
Mm,
Now the next conference, it's going to be hard for you to not think about this team as the team that's going to probably win the conference. Okay.
mm-hmm.
The Big Ten. I got Purdue. I'm an Ohio State fan, but Purdue, they've just been kicking butt this year. So
Yeah, I agree with you on that. Purdue they have been playing well, but um, and they took some a few haymakers across the gene lately as well. Um,
mhm.
Indiana came in and they beat them. They beat them twice. Oh man, that's tough. Um, but I'm still gonna go. I'm gonna roll with Purdue. I'm gonna go with them as well. Um, I just think that even if they run up on Indiana again at some point, um, yeah, I think they'll definitely beat them. But yeah, I'm gonna go with them. They've been playing the most consistent basketball in the Big Ten. So yeah, I think that's a safe bet.
Then Ivy is probably going to get. I think he's going to be a Big Ten Player of the Year because he's just been a force.
Oh yeah,
So
oh yeah.
the next conference we have is Conference USA. I'm picking Florida Atlantic.
Mm. I'm going UAB.
UAB. Nothing wrong with that.
Mm. Speaking with the team in the state.
And now the main reason why I think about UAB is just how they resurrected their football program after what happened there, the debacle with that.
Mm-hmm.
But
Mm.
they've
Oh
also
yeah.
been a very good basketball school too. So that's That's definitely
Yeah,
a strong
and
pick.
yeah, Coach Kennedy got them playing really, really well.
I mean, that's part of the reason why we love the tournament this time of the year because we're going to see who's going to be able to show up and do well and who doesn't always rise to the occasion. Although the next Big 12, I'm picking Kansas.
Mm. Oh boy, I like. Mm, that's a that's a good conference.
Hmm.
I got a nephew
Yeah,
that
every
plays at
team's
West
been in
Virginia.
contention at one point or another.
Yeah, I'm going with Texas. I'm going
Okay.
with Texas. Um, I mean, I watched both of them play
Mhm.
over the course of the season, and Texas has been playing really well. Texas and Kansas game in Allen Fieldhouse was a really good game. Kansas made a few more plays than Texas, but again, Texas has been playing some really really consistent ball. I'm gonna ride with the Longhorns.
There's nothing wrong with that. I mean, after what happened with Chris Beard and the coach that took over, I mean, he's done a heck of a job, and hopefully at
Heck
the
of a
end of the
job.
year he'll be. Yeah, hopefully he's just gonna can go even better. And I guess talk about Chris Beard maybe being the finalist for the Ole
He,
Miss coaching job. We'll see about that.
he's gonna be. He's gonna be there. I think it's a done deal.
Okay. Hey, you know what? There's nothing wrong with that. I mean, it is what it is, and hopefully he will stay out of trouble. That's the main thing. So, but we'll wait and see about that.
Hmm.
But Erwin, now we get to come to the conference and it's near and dear to your heart. We
Oh
got
yeah.
the SEC, and I'm gonna be honest, I'm picking Alabama.
No, you got to pick somebody else. Oh yeah. Well, you already know who I'm going to pick. Of course, is Alabama. Um, they've been, they've had a few of those scares coming down the stretch at the end of the season, but their overall body of work of what they've done the entire season has been amazing. Um, they've went on the road and won some big games, and then they lost a few. They lost to Texas A&M. The last game of the season. Oklahoma beat them. On the road. They didn't shoot the ball well, and but again, they had some games where they didn't shoot the ball well, but they defended really well, and they were able to come out with a victory. So, um, so that's a scary sight for a few other teams because again, their team like if they're not shooting, they still can play defense.
Hmm.
Um, we got the Brandon Miller. He's been like one of the most consistent players for us all year. SEC Player of the Year,
Hmm.
number three within the last 23 years. I was '02. Herb Jones came in a couple years ago, and then now Brandon. Um, you know, he's done it. He's the SEC Freshman of the Year. I mean, the kid's come. He came in and basically, put Alabama on his back, and he's carried them a long way.
Hmm.
But don't get me wrong. He had some people that come along with him. I mean, Mark transferred in from Miami, and he's been playing really well for us at the point guard position. Um, the way Clowney has been playing, no one expected him to be playing the way he's playing, but he's been a major contributor for us, and he's been a a main reason why um, we've had so much success. He brings a different aspect to the game than Charles Bediako. Charles Bediako's 7 footer, block shots. He can rim run, but Clowney, he can rim run. You can switch on. You can switch screens with him a lot more. He can knock down the 3 pointer. So he's been really really good for us as well because I think that the points and stuff that he brings and he in rebounds and he's been able to get has been vital for us because again you know with us we shoot so many 3 pointers. You got to have somebody to rebound the basketball, and so be able to rebound and then like you say, he just been a big plus for us.
Mhm. Absolutely. So I think you're gonna probably go with Alabama as well. So I think
Oh
we
yeah,
we both
you
made the
already
right
know.
choice. Oh yeah. I mean, sometimes you have good things that go on, sometimes not. But I mean, either way, you can say that Brandon Moore has definitely been the one who sometimes when they've really needed him to show up, he's been the one that's shown up. And sure, it hasn't
Yes,
been him all by himself, but
he's
when
done
they've
his
had,
part. I know that.
yes, exactly. That's the main thing. So, all right, let's jump into the MAC right now. I'm going to pick Toledo.
Mm. You got Toledo. Mm.
I got Toledo. Who do you got?
I'm going to. Oh boy, I'm gonna go Kent State.
Kent State.
Even though I
Okay.
hate, even though I hate to say I'm going for Kent State. Kent State beat us. They actually beat us in the NCAA tournament my junior year. So um but it is what it is.
Let's see. That was that the year they made to the Sweet 16?
I think it was that was the year they had Antonio Gates on there.
That's right. That's right. Yeah, no, well, I know you don't like to think about that. I do remember that team. That was a pretty
That was
filthy team.
pretty we didn't know much about them. But man, they Antonio Gates, he didn't play he played basketball. I mean he played football. He was a
For the
football player.
Chargers.
Well,
Hmm.
yeah, for the Chargers, he was all he was from high school. He was a 5-star football player, but he played basketball in college, and then
Yeah.
not knowing playing against him in the NCAA tournament, he was a first round pick, tight end. I'm like, really?
Hmm.
It was
Hmm.
unbelievable. Yeah, unbelievable.
And I mean that I do remember that, and that was something. I mean, there are a few players that have been like that, but yeah, he's the one that most people will definitely think about more than others. So,
Hmm.
all right, we got the American Athletic Conference, and well, I picked Houston. I mean, as
I
much as
mean,
you want to try to pick somebody else, I mean, Houston, Calvin Sampson's got them in the in shape to where they're going to be contenders this year.
yeah. I mean, I'm Houston as well.
Okay. And the last league that we have is the Ivy League. I picked Yale.
I'm going Princeton.
You're going Princeton. Okay.
I'm going Princeton. Yep.
All right. That'll work. So that way we've gone through all those and real quick, let's see for the teams that have made it in so far. For let's see, Farley Dixon's their seventh appearance in the tournament. The Ohio Valley was Southeast Missouri State. It's their second appearance.
Hmm.
UNC Asheville, it's their fifth. Missouri Valley Drake won. It's their sixth appearance, their second in 3 seasons. Kennesaw State, who won the ASUN, it's their first appearance since the program's become Division One.
Hmm.
The Sun Belt is Louisiana Raging Cajuns. It's their 11th appearance.
Hmm.
Southern Full Furman won, and it's their seventh appearance, their first since 1980. So welcome back. Horizon League, Northern Kentucky won, and it's their third appearance.
Mm-hmm.
Charleston, we talked about for the CAA, it's their sixth. Gonzaga,
Oh.
it's their 24th consecutive appearance.
Mm-hmm.
That's pretty impressive right there.
Very, very impressive.
Oral Roberts is their seventh appearance. For the Southland Texan and Corpus Christi, it's their third appearance, their second consecutive. And then for the
Mm-hmm.
Patriot Colgate, it's their sixth appearance, their third straight, fourth and five seasons. It's a pretty good record to have for them for the tournament right now.
Mm-hmm.
So when I'm looking at Joe Lenardi's bracketology, when I'm looking at on the bubble teams right now, the last four buys it says are Boise State, NC State, Pittsburgh, and Penn State. He has his last four in his Mississippi State, Utah State, Rutgers, and Nevada. The first four out he has is Oklahoma State, Wisconsin, Arizona State, and North Carolina, with his next four out being Michigan, Charleston, Clemson, and Oregon.
Mm.
That one for Charleston, I don't know about that one, so we'll see about that. But
Well,
luckily,
he's pretty. I mean, hey, he is. He's normally not off by much. So,
Mhm.
so it'll be like you said. I want to see that, but he's not off by much though.
True. I mean, that's why I'm looking forward to seeing how it goes at the end of the tournament week, so we can see exactly what his final standings are. That when we see it
Mm-hmm.
on
Yep.
Selection Sunday, that's going to be. I'm curious to see how he does there, because yeah, him and Andy Katz, they both. I like looking at both of their how they make the tournament, how they make their brackets, because like you said, they've got a pretty good rate on him. So
Mm-hmm.
real quick, let's go through the AP top 25. We got Houston at number one. 29-2. UCLA is number two, 27-4. Kansas is number three at 25-6.
Mm-hmm.
Alabama, we got number four at 26-5. Purdue's number five, 26-5. Marquette's number six at 25-6. Texas is number seven at 23-8. Arizona's number eight at 25-6. Gonzaga's number nine at 26-5. Baylor's number 10 at 22-9. UConn's number 11 at 24-7. Kansas State is number 12 with a record of 23-8. UVA is number 13 with a record of 23-6. Miami is number 14 with a record of 24-6. Xavier is number 15 with a record of 23-8. St. Mary's is number 16 with a record of 25-6. Tennessee is number 17 with a record of 22-9. Texas A&M is number 18 with a record of 23-8. Indiana's number 19 with a record of 21-10. San Diego State is number 20 with a record of 24-6. Duke is number 21 with a record of 23-8. TCU is number 2 with a record of 20-11. Kentucky is number 23 with a record of 21-10. Creighton is number 4 with a record of 20-11. And Missouri rounds out the top 25 with a record of 23-8.
Mm. There's a lot of teams in there with 23, 24, and 22 wins, 26 wins. There's a lot of
Mm-hmm.
teams. My teams play a lot of games. A lot of teams that are that have won a lot of games. Like you said, Houston 29-2, and then you just skip down. You go to Alabama, Purdue. They're 26-5. Kansas 25-6. Marquette 25-6. Arizona 25-6. Gonzaga 26-5. So that's a lot of teams, hanging around that 26, 27, game win 27, 26, 27 games won. So there's a lot, man. There's a lot about how how I guess some how the talent pool has been spread out around around the country for different programs.
Absolutely. And Well, that about wraps up for men's basketball, but today's National International Women's Day. And so, speaking of that, we do need to make sure we talk about women's basketball. And as we do so,
Hmm.
we have to mention about the top team in the land, the South Carolina Gamecocks. And what a heck of a job Dawn Staley has done since she took over there after being at UVA.
Amazing job. Just consistently, they've been playing consistently over the course of the season, night in and night out. Um, her recruiting, bringing in top recruits, and not only just bringing in top recruits, but bringing in top recruits that are actually producing and doing things to help the team win. Man, she's doing an awesome job there.
Exactly. And I mean, as we see about lots of other women who are doing great things as well, not only as college coaches, but just with everyday life as well.
Hmm.
I just figured highlighting her because I mean, right now, South Carolina, they're undefeated, and even though they've had a few somewhat close games,
Hmm.
it's going to be hard to see anybody beat them. I really think that they should be able to run the table this year. I mean, they're probably who I'm
It's
going to
gonna,
pick.
yeah, it'll be. I mean, I think they got what it takes. I
Mhm.
watched them a few times. I think the one thing that they don't do as well now that they make up for it, I don't think they really shoot the ball that well from deep. But they have a lot of people, a lot of bigs around the basket that can get stuff done, and I think that kind of makes up for it. Um, and their defense, the way they play defense as well. So I think I agree with you. I think they will repeat. I think it'll be a little bit harder, but I do think they will repeat though.
Yeah, I mean, Aaliyah Boston, she's been having a lot of great games, and one of the things was for her, like when we talked about you and me, the LSU and South Carolina game. When I was watching that game, every time LSU was trying to get an offensive rebound, they couldn't. South Carolina already had the rebound and already had the ball going up to half court. I mean,
Hmm.
I think they only got, I don't even think they got 10 offensive rebounds because the way South Carolina was playing defense, they just
Mm,
owned all around the rim. It wasn't even close.
they really did. They really,
And I
really
mean,
did.
and the reason why I bring up that game was because that was a game between two undefeateds where you thought it was going to be a true grudge match, and instead South Carolina just said, "Yeah, just go ahead and back up. You're not ready for us yet." So
Hmm.
we're gonna see how it is, and not only in the SEC tournament. Well, we couldn't see in the tournament, sadly, but we'll see how it goes for the NCAA tournament because if they do make it to the Final Four together, that could definitely be another great matchup one more time.
Classic.
So, real quick, looking at the women bracketology, I see that the last four buys it has Alabama, Illinois, Kansas, Mississippi State. The last four in, they have Miami, Marquette, Purdue, and Princeton. The first four out, they have St. John's, West Virginia, Oregon, and Arkansas.
Uh-huh.
And the next four out, they have Syracuse, Nebraska, Kansas State, and Washington. So, I mean, I like how they have that right now, but you know as well as I do, within the next week, things are going to change a whole lot. So we're just going
It's
to
gonna change
see.
that time. Yeah.
So, I mean, I like how they already have it set up as a few guesses, but I want to see how it ends up completely. So let's real quick go through the top 25. And like I said, we have South Carolina undefeated at 32-0 is number one. Iowa, number two. They actually won the Big Ten. Caitlin Clark, she was able to get, I don't know if you saw her stat line, but she had over 30 points and she had a triple double.
I did.
And,
They played in
and
one.
she's done that
Was it?
two or three times.
because they played against Ohio State.
Yep.
Yep, I watched it. It was a good game.
And
Good.
the way that Caitlin Clark's been playing, I believe this is her final year there, and she's been going out of her career on a high note. But they've definitely been the team to beat this whole year in the Big Ten.
Mm-hmm.
So they're number two at 26-6. We have Indiana at number three at 27-3. Virginia Tech is number four at 27-4. Stanford is number five at 28-5. Maryland is number six at 25-6. UConn is number seven at 28-5. Utah is number eight with a record of 25-4. LSU is number nine with 28-2. Villanova is number 10 with a record of 28-5. Notre Dame is number 11 with a record of 25-5. Ohio State is number 12 with a record of 25-7. Duke is number 13 with a record of 25-6. Oklahoma is number 14 with a record of 24-5. Texas is number 15 with a record of 23-8. Gonzaga is number 16 with a record of 27-3. UCLA is number 17 with a record of 25-9. Michigan is number 18 with a record of 22-9. North Carolina is number 19 with a record of 21-10. Colorado is number 20 with a record of 23-8. UNLV is number 21 with a record of 28-2. Washington State is number 22 with a record of 23-10. Tennessee is number 23 with a record of 23-11. Arizona is number 24 with a record of 21-9. And Middle Tennessee State rounds out the top 25 with a record of 25-4. And real quick, I was wondering, when's the last time you remember UConn losing 5 games in a year?
Oh man, a long time. Like you don't talk about like we were talking about um a few minutes ago before we came on live how when you talk about Tennessee, like
Mm-hmm.
Tennessee is one of those teams when you talk about Tennessee women's basketball, like they were the team that everybody wanted to beat or everybody wanted to beat. And then it's the same thing with UConn. Like it was UConn or either Tennessee. They were the teams that they were, kind of going at it, back and forth for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
And then now you have, you got South Carolina. They're the team now, that everybody wants to be like, or everybody wants to live their standard. Like you said, UConn, you're not used to when you have UConn losing a game, you're like, UConn, UConn they were just so dominant. Um, they had players, they were getting top players year after year after year after year, and they was able to put it together year after year after year. And when you have that, that speaks volume of a coach, being able to get their players on the same page when you have a roster change or turnover in your roster, the way they do. So, but again, like you said, UConn having 5 losses, that's almost like unheard of.
Exactly. The other thing that's kind of different for UConn, remember Paige Beckers tore her ACL
Yeah, I
before the
know.
year
Yeah.
started. So that and then Aziz Fudd, she's been dealing with injuries off and on the whole year. The other thing is
Mm-hmm.
UConn had to forfeit one game because they didn't even have enough players. So that was one of the losses, but still,
Mm-hmm.
seeing how GORM has lost 5 games in a year for once, after you would see them lose maybe 2 or 3 games per year, I'd say the last 7 or 8 years at least, just with the high
Mm-hmm.
caliber players he's had. I mean, ever since so we could even go as far back as Sue Bird and Diana Taurasi, where they would only, I think they
Mm-hmm.
only lost like maybe 2 or 3 games every year. So I mean, just seeing how that's been, now watching it
Mm-hmm.
this year, I definitely think it's going to be a rebuilding year for him. But even still, he was able to escape it with only 5 losses and still win over 20 games, which that's
Exactly.
pretty impressive. So, Erwin, I appreciate your time. And if we were going to try to get a hold of you on social media, how would we do so?
Man, I tell you, I mean, I'm on social media, but I'm not on there. Um, I'm one of those people that, with social media, you have to kind of, I just, that's not the first thing that, social media is not one of the first things that, that comes to mind with me about posting. But on Facebook, I'm Erwin Dudley. And then on Instagram, I'm Erwin underscore Dudley 35. And then I forgot my Twitter handle. But yeah, but those are my two main ones, Facebook and Instagram.
I do understand only for the fact that I rejoined Twitter this last year, and I only hadn't been off in 10 years, so it wasn't like I was off for a long time or anything. So,
I know, right?
yep, no, I'm starting to. I've made one post since I've been back. I'm working on making another post pretty soon, so it's going to happen. And you can see that under Alan F. West, or on Instagram, you could always find me at alan.west.46. But, well, Erwin, I appreciate the time, and hopefully we'll be able to have you on again, and we'll either see about, depending on your schedule, maybe we can try and see about either close to the Sweet 16, maybe closer to the Elite
Okay.
Eight, so we can just see about how you think about which picks and who you like getting closer to the end. How's that sound?
Okay. Sounds great.
That'd be great. Hey, thank you for coming on again, and you can always find us on the sportscast.com or go on Twitter, the sportscast one. This has been Al West. That's Erwin Dudley. This is the top 25 rundown. Thanks so much. Have a great night, everybody.
Mm.